Westfield Memorial Hospital provides high-quality health care to residents of Western New York, offering patients the most sophisticated medical advancements while keeping the ease and familiarity of a community hospital. Support for Chautauqua Sunrise has been provided by WRFA 107.9 FM, Jamestown's public radio station, streaming online 24/7 at WRFALP.com. Low power to the people. Chautauqua Sunrise is made possible by a grant from Fredonia Place, a continuing care retirement community providing dignity in a modern luxury environment. Meter's Restaurant, a family tradition for over 50 years in downtown Ripley, is a proud supporter of Chautauqua Sunrise. Meter's provides all-day dining, banquet services, and custom catering, specializing in pie. Funding for Chautauqua Sunrise is provided in part by the Chautauqua County Industrial Development Agency, with offices in Jamestown and Dunkirk, helping businesses to prosper throughout Chautauqua County. From supporting people with disabilities to enjoy great lives, to providing health care services that are available to anyone, the Resource Center has been improving our county for more than 60 years. Learn more about how the Resource Center makes a positive difference in people's lives. From the Access Chautauqua Studios in Mayville, it's Chautauqua Sunrise. Chautauqua Sunrise is hosted by Doc Hamels and supported by the award-winning volunteers at Access Chautauqua. We are here to share local news, colorful interviews, and events of interest to everyone. Chautauqua Sunrise is broadcast live Saturday mornings each week from 9 to 10 a.m. Send events via email or call us live. Check us out on YouTube and Facebook. And now, from the Access Chautauqua Studios, it's Chautauqua Sunrise.
There I am. We've been queuing up all kinds of things here this morning. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Chautauqua Sunrise. I'm Doc Hamels, and we are glad that you could join us. Good morning to you that are watching us live right now, anywhere in Chautauqua County or around the world, because we stream live from time to time. I'm not sure we're streaming today. I know we had some, I don't know, we get these little leprechauns or goblins in the system, and sometimes it works, and sometimes we don't know what's going on. But anyways, always remember this show is on YouTube forever and ever and ever. And you can watch the show again at 2 and 8 every day of the week, throughout the week, coming up. And we got a really fun show in store for you today. We're going to be talking about Christmas holidays and good stuff. My regular scheduled guest couldn't be here today, but I was fortunate to contact one of my good friends who's going to be with us here shortly. And we're going to talk about some really fun things that are going to be going on in the next couple of weeks. All right, I want to say good afternoon to all my listeners on WRFA 107.9, low power to the people in Jamestown. Thanks for joining us Tuesdays at 1 o'clock. This is basically the soundtrack of our show, and we're so pleased that we're able to have this agreement with WRFA. And we've been working together for years now, and it's just really nice to be able to get the news from this side of the world to the other side of the world. And so anyways, good afternoon. Glad you could join us. Okay, as we're going along throughout the show today, if you have a comment, a question, something you want to announce for your club or organization, give me a call at 716-753-5225. Okay, and you might say, I don't have it ready. I don't know the date exactly. When you do, email me at chautauquasunrise@gmail.com. The crew gets it here at the station. They forward it to me. We look it over, and we try to get it on the air the following week, okay, or whenever it comes up. I always recommend think it through ahead of time. If your club organization is going to have something in a week or two, don't procrastinate, because a lot of times by the time we get it, it's over. or it's the same day as the show. Try to get it a week or two ahead of time. And then you'll get some really good coverage, and it's free of charge. Okay, so chautauquasunrise@gmail.com. We'll get your events and news on the air. All right, let's see where we're at here. Okay, so it's deer season. On the way over here today, the sun wasn't even up yet, I don't think. A big old deer walked right out in front of me, scared the wits out of me. I didn't even see him hardly. They're on the move right now, folks. It's hunting season coming up. So, as I mentioned the last couple of weeks about grape harvest season, you got two things going on at the same time now. You got the grape pickers, and you got all the guys running around in their little tractors and their carts, and they're moving things over to the processing plant over in Westfield. You got farmers coming and going with their semis, and they're loading this and loading that. You got deer running around. Woo! It's a busy time here in the northwestern part of the county. So please, when you're driving the highways and the byways and the back roads, be careful and be attentive, because there's a lot of things moving and shaking. All right. So Jeff needs to help me on this one. I never get this right. Now, my understanding is when we go to bed tonight, something happens. It's called daylight savings time. So when I get up tomorrow morning, do I have an extra hour or one less hour of sleep? I fall back. All right. Extra hour. Thank you, Jeff. He's my daylight savings time guru. Every year I mess it up, so I just ask him now. One year I had it going the other way. I said, spring forward. No, whatever. Spring back. Whatever. See, there I go again. So anyways, change your clocks. Smartphone in the morning, there you go. That keeps us on the straight and narrow. In my house, half the clocks are atomic and they change by themselves, and the other ones I gotta go. I still don't know why we do what we do. I thought they were gonna stop that. There was some congressional action, they were gonna change that and go back to whatever time the real time is, and I don't even know what the real time is anymore. But anyways, tomorrow morning you get an extra hour of sleep, so change your clocks. Okay. Let's see, what else is going on? This was very interesting. And I just happened to catch this on the radio. The Beatles released their last and final song. And I'm going like, huh? John Lennon wrote a song, and it's called Now and Then. And through artificial intelligence and really cool graphics and video maneuvering, they created the Beatles one more time doing this song. And it's on YouTube. I don't even know why I'm advertising it, only because people my age, we grew up with the Beatles, and I watched it a couple of times. It's fascinating to see John Lennon and George Harrison playing with Ringo and Paul, like as they are now. And then 1 minute, I don't want to give it all away, but anyways, it's pretty cool. So if you get a chance, Now and Then by the Beatles, they call it their last song, and so I'm giving them a little love there, because I'm a musician, and it was because of them I got into music. A lot of us, and so forth. All right, so I talked about that. All right, here's a little something coming up this Tuesday called Vote. It's election day here in Chautauqua County. And, people say, what difference does it make? My vote doesn't count. Yeah, it does. In our local elections, one vote can make a difference between someone winning and losing, or a tie. And it's happened in my own community. A number of times I know that someone's been elected with a difference of one vote. And it could have been your vote. So please, take an interest in your local elections. And I encourage you to read all those flyers that you get in the mail about the various candidates. Read them, study them, call them, find out what their position is on something or whatever, or ask around. In my hometown of Ripley, there's a lot going on, so we're all studying the candidates carefully and listening. And I know there's a number of legislative positions that are up for grabs right now. Legislative being the positions in Mayville. The legislators help run the county at the county level. And then you have town clerks and village clerks and council people in the local communities going on, judges and so forth. So highway superintendents. And if you don't vote, you have nothing to complain about, all right? So please take an active role. It's one of the few things that our country has that a lot of other countries wish they had. So voting Tuesday, November 7th from, like 6 in the morning till 9 o'clock at night, okay? Let's see, what else we got here? Want to do a shout out to my friends over in Ukraine, Natalia and friends. Good morning, good afternoon. I think we figured out it's afternoon. We're always in our thoughts, and we're glad that you're able to tune in and hopefully get a little joy of what we talk about here in the States. So we're thinking about you over there in Kiev and other parts. All right, Veterans Day coming up, the 11th month, the 11th day, the 11th hour. That's how my son taught it to me. That's coming up a week from today, and we were going to have the veterans on today and talk about what's going on, but we're going to reschedule them for later on in 2024. It seems hard to believe that we're talking about 2024 already. But instead of giving you all the details for Veterans Day, I probably would refer you to the newspapers. They have all the different events going on, ceremonies and so forth. And we've got 3 generations of veterans in our family, and we're proud of every one of them, and we're proud of all the veterans in our county here. They tell me we're somewhere between 10 and 11,000 veterans. Let that sink in for a minute. Between 10 and 11,000 veterans in Chautauqua County alone. Wow. You know, we're well represented in the armed forces, and we're also very proud of all of you that have stepped up, taken the oath, as my friend Greg Carlson will say, and we're sworn into service. Okay, so be kind to veterans and thank them when you see them, because a lot of times you'll see their hats and so forth. So thank a veteran whenever you get the opportunity, not just on Veterans Day. All right, we have some announcements I want to share with you, so sit back, relax, and let me do my thing here. All right. This one I always point out because a lot of people, they don't take advantage of it. It's called HEAP, okay? Home Energy Assistance Program. You can provide up to $976 this winter to help low and middle income households and older adults keep their homes warm and toasty and cope with high energy costs. I saw something in the newspapers just the other day that one of the utility companies, I don't always like to mention them, is asking to raise their rates. So I'm sure this would come in handy if you could use some extra money. All right, HEAP provides valuable financial assistance that will help hundreds of thousands of our most vulnerable New Yorkers pay their energy bills, according to the Office of Temporary and Disability Assistance. Okay, they encourage all eligible households to apply to help reduce the costs they incur to keep their homes warm throughout the heating season. Now, it seems hard to believe that you would even think that someone would have trouble heating their house these days, but with everything else going on in this world, people get to a certain point sometimes. They have to decide whether they're going to eat, take their medicine, or heat their house. So they kind of split the differences, and they heat their house at 65 or something crazy like that. Way too cold, okay? Especially for senior citizens. They should be up like 70, 72. My opinion only. My wife would have it at 62. The program, overseen by the Office of Temporary and Disability Assistance, is federally funded. Eligible households can receive one regular benefit per season and could also be eligible for emergency benefits as well if they're in danger of running out of heating fuel or having their utility shut off. Okay? So emergency benefits will be accepted beginning January 2. So it's still early, but be thinking about this. Okay, here's the scoop. Eligible homeowners and renters, I didn't realize renters could get this, may receive up to $976 in heating, depending on your income, household size, and how you heat your house. If the household contains a vulnerable member, a family of 4 may have a maximum gross monthly income of $5,838 or an annual income income of $70,059 and still qualify for benefits. $70,000 is quite a little bit of money, so I suspect many of you may be eligible to our listening. All right, so basically, how do you do this? Applications for assistance are accepted in local departments of social services in Mayville and can be submitted online, through the mail, or in person. Additionally, older adults needing assistance with HEAP applications can contact their local office for the aging through New York Connects, and we talk about that all the time. And the 800 number is 1-800-342-9871. Now, if I hold my breath long enough, there it is. I knew it. Thank you, Jeff, my man. New York Connects. See how we work here? We we read each other's minds. It's like magic. New York Connects locally is 716-753-4646. 4582. So what is it? It's a hotline that you can call, tell them what you want, and they will direct you to the proper office. So whether it's for food, it's for heating, if it's emergency services, you want something to do with elder care, whatever it is, call that number, 716-753-4582. Okay? So check it out, folks. There's no reason why you can't do that. All right? So let's move along. Number 15, Jeff. You might say, well, why do you always say Jeff? Jeff's on the other side of the wall. He runs all the equipment. I mean, if you look at his area that he's working, he's got like 53 different monitors and all these little switches and pedals and all kinds of cool. So he makes this all look really cool for us. Christmas window decorating. All right, this is from the Chamber of Commerce. All right, for Chautauqua County. I don't remember too much about this before. Starts November 17th, ends in December 16th. They're having a little contest here. Here we go. Let's see if I can figure this all out because it's all in caps. The Chautauqua Chamber of Commerce Holiday Window Decorating Contest rules. Contest will run from those dates, November 17th through the 16th. You must register through the Chamber website Friday, November 10. You do not need to be a Chamber member to register. Okay, let's see. I got to put my finger here so I don't get lost. Once registration closes, each business will be provided an 8.5 by 11 sign that includes a QR code and your assigned number for voting to be placed in your window. This will be delivered the week of November 17th. I digress for a second. I just want to show somebody what I'm trying to read. I don't. Any better? Oh, okay. So once your window is complete, it's okay, Jeff. Once your window is completed, please send a picture to the chamber and so forth. So anyway, so what's going on? Decoration must be visible outside the business windows. If a sign can be decorated, interior space is not visible. Outside do not qualify. So they want to spruce up the county. All right. So give them a call at 484-1101, 484-1101, extension 201. Ask for Carrie Swanson at the Chamber of Commerce, and you can participate in the Chamber's window decoration for the holidays. Kind of perk things up. Okay, thank you. So when I was a kid, I remember going downtown Buffalo, and they would have all the big stores, M&A's and Hens and Kelly's. I'm dating myself here a bit, but they would have the little mechanical puppets and things like that. I mean, it was just like a special time. It was really a lot of fun. So I think everybody's trying to get back to some of that, and it's always fun. It's a lot of work, but it's fun. And we're going to be talking more about community and getting ready for the holidays with my guest who's anxiously waiting to come on. All right, let's go to slide 16. Let's see. Movies at the Reg. Okay. Wednesday, November 8th. That can't be right. Today's the 4th. That's right. The day after Election Day, November 8th, you've got Golda. Golda is a ticking clock thriller set during the tense 19 days of the Yom Kippur War in 1973. Israeli Prime Minister Golda Meir, faced with the potential of Israel's complete destruction, must navigate overwhelming odds, a skeptical cabinet, a complex relationship with U.S. Secretary of State Henry Kissinger, with millions of lives in the balance. Her tough leadership and compassion would ultimately decide the fate of her nation and leave her with a controversial legacy around the world. Boy, talk about timing. Wow. Okay. It seems like deja vu all over again, as Yogi Berra would say. So if you're interested, Golda Meir, there's a movie called Golda on November 8th. Tickets are $7 there. The Magic of Motown, coming up Saturday, November 11th. This is a premium event. Experience the magic of Motown. The high-energy tribute to the legends of Motown will transport you back in time, where you'll visit the very best of Hitsville, USA. This performance features a cast of 15 powerhouse vocalists backed by a 6-piece band who embody artists such as The Temptations, The Four Tops, Diana Ross and the Supremes, Marvin Gaye, Aretha Franklin, Smokey Robinson and the Miracles. The show's pitch-perfect harmonies, dynamic choreography, and gorgeous costuming perfectly capture the sights and sound of Motown that has become a timeless treasure. Again, growing up, that was a lot of the sound and the music we grew up with, especially up in Buffalo. I mean, that was the Motown, probably baby sister to the whole Motown scene. We just loved that music and tried to imitate the guys with their hand gestures and the choreography moves. I couldn't do them. But anyways, it was a lot of fun. Okay, featuring hit after hit, the soundtrack for the evening includes Ain't No Mountain High Enough, My Girl, Heat Wave. That was Martha and the Vandellas. Midnight Train to Georgia. That was with the Pips and what's her name? I know her name. Huh?
Gladys Knight and the Pips.
Gladys Knight and the Pips. But good choice. Good guess, Jeff. Respect. That's Aretha Franklin. Whether you choose to sway in your seat or spend the night on your feet, this will be one great night of music you won't want to miss. This music has transcended generations and will continue to do so. There is something magical about Motown, and they're happy to bring it to Jamestown. Get ready, because here we come. Premium seats, $81. Orchestra Suite, $71. Balcony, $61. You want to go? Give them a call and get your tickets at 484-7070, or you can go to the box office throughout the week. Okay? That sounds like a blast. All right, moving right along here. I'll get my fingers moving. Oh, we got another slide here. All right. The city welcomes annual Small Business Saturday celebration. This is a big theme that's going on right now. My buddy Willie Rosas, mayor of Dunkirk, and the city of Dunkirk Festivals and Special Events Development are excited to announce the Christmas on Central Small Business Saturday Holiday Market and annual tree lighting on Saturday, November 25, from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. in downtown Dunkirk. The event is presented by event sponsor Universal Stainless Steel in Dunkirk. Other sponsors include the New York State Office for People with Developmental Disabilities. The indoor and outdoor pop-up shopping event is to spotlight locally owned businesses and the impact they have on communities. The list is really long of who's going to participate, but let's see. Let me see if I can pull out some things here. It's going to be an opportunity to shop for holiday gifts. You got 50 vendors and small businesses. There's going to be live music at City Hall with DJ Joe Gould, Slim Red, Footsteps, and other activities include complimentary hot chocolate and food available for purchase from the Central Station restaurant, and complimentary horse-drawn carriage rides with 2 wagons this year provided by Laugh and Lion Ranch. From 12 to 4. Of course, you're going to visit with Santa Claus, Mrs. Claus, Rudolph, the elves, everything's going on. So sounds like a lot of fun, and you can check that out up in Dunkirk at, let's see, go to their website for cityofdunkirk.com, and you can see what's going on there. And let's see, we're going to skip 18 because we're going to be talking about that. And then finally, let me make sure I got everything covered here. All right, and then just to remind you, with Veterans Day, there's a lot of opportunities for veterans, and we'll wrap up that particular view of Dunkirk, and we're just going to talk to you real quick about the fact that there are veteran services related to the needs here in Chautauqua County. There are lots of pieces of what's what I want to say, technical equipment like internet services, telemedicine, emergency care services, and we're going to talk a lot about that here, but I do encourage you to contact your Chautauqua County Veterans Services group out of Mayville, and if you're a veteran, please, if you're in need of services of any kind, give them a call. Check them out. All right, we're now going to do something, hopefully, if we got this figured out. I had the wonderful opportunity to meet Mike Ruzzi from WICU Channel 12 out of Erie, Pennsylvania this week. Long story, I won't go through the whole thing, but my son Justin knows another Justin Safford, And he knew Mike Ruzzi, and they were looking for veterans to do specials every Thursday on Veteran Services. And so my father-in-law's name popped up. Long story short, I talked my father-in-law, William Molson, into being interviewed, and this is Mike Ruzzi at my father-in-law's house. And I got to say this much, Mike Ruzzi was a gentleman, so gentle to work with, and a pleasure to work with another guy that's in the TV world like I am. So we're going to give it our best shot. We're going to see this clip for Veterans Day as a 97-year-old World War II veteran tells a little bit about his life. Take it away, Jeff.
So Remembering Our Veterans continues tonight with the story of 97-year-old World War II Navy veteran William Molson. He grew up in Ripley, New York, and at the age of 17 joined the Navy. When he was asked why he joined that branch of the military, he said, "The Army gets all of the work, the Marines get the credit, and the Navy gets the pay." Our Mike Ruzzi takes us on his journey from Ripley to the USS Maddox.
We met Mr. Molson at his Ripley, New York home with his son-in-law, John Doc Hamels. Molson felt the U.S. had a significant advantage over the Japanese during World War II by being able to refuel ships and planes at sea. He and the others were well aware of the turning point in the war. He was also on board the Maddox when a suicide plane mission hit the side of the ship.
Killed 7 men. We buried at sea, and we transferred 30-something to the hospital ship.
And he saw plenty during his tour of duty beginning in the mid-40s, including typhoons that caused 3 ships to capsize.
We went over 68 degrees and straightened back up again. I got papers at home to tell about it. Believe me, I was more afraid of them than I was of the Japs or anybody else. If you had to get off of that ship because it went down, where are you going to swim to?
When his service time ended, Molson returned to Ripley, New York, and married his sweetheart, Wilma. Together, they raised one incredible family, 4 children, 11 grandchildren, 24 great-grandchildren, and he says he's lost count of the number of great-great-grandchildren he has. How do you keep track of all the birthdays?
I don't. I got a daughter about as old as any. Well, she was the first one, and she's got a memory on her. She can remember all of them. So I can remember a face now, don't get me wrong. But I can't remember names.
Mike Ruzzi, Erie News Now.
Well, William told us his secret to a long life. It's peanut butter sandwiches topped with red onion. William Molson, thank you for your service.
We tried to get the video to work, and I apologize for that. Our platforms just wouldn't work, but we were able to get the soundtrack. And Jeff, thanks for fighting with the equipment today to get that together. So that was my father-in-law, Bill Molson, 97 years old, and still has a lot to offer the world. And Mike Ruzzi, thanks for being such a gentleman and visiting right in my father-in-law's home. And we had a lot of fun. And also Mike, the cameraman that was with him. So, okay, so that was for Veterans Day, and happy Veterans Day to all those out there. Enough talking. I want to bring my guest on who's been anxiously waiting, I can tell. Oh my gosh, jumping up and down here and say, me. We're gonna talk about Christmas in the Village in Westfield, New York, and I want to welcome a friend of mine who I've known for quite a long time, Marilyn, who is from Westfield. Good morning.
Good morning.
How long have we known each other? We actually
A long time.
15, at least 15 years or
Oh,
more.
I think surely.
Okay. One of my fondest memories of you is me and you singing together at a Christmas in the
It was
village
in
event.
McClurg, wasn't it?
Yeah, in the one room there.
It was impromptu, if I remember.
You said, "Oh, I know that song," and we started singing together. That was great fun. So, Marilyn, thank you for joining me today. I know this was short notice, and I appreciate it, but in the past, I've had people come on here and do short little pieces, and I thought today we would kind of talk a little bit more in depth. I mean, to do a Christmas in a village is no small matter, and you seem to have a knack to get people together. And because of that, I had the pleasure and honor to honor you recently at Chautauqua Institution. And folks, you're looking at the first. You were number one. The first woman of distinction that was honored by the YWCA out of Westfield this year.
Thank you.
And you were certainly well deserving of that award.
Thank you.
And did you lift that vase, or did you have John carry it? that was
That's something.
That was like about
Yeah.
a 20-pound vase.
Oh
I mean,
my
it was
gosh,
gorgeous.
it's beautiful. That was a humbling experience, but I'm deeply grateful.
You know, all of you were the same way. I talked to a few of the 7 that were there, and they are very humble. And I think I find that even with veterans, humble. Most people don't make a big deal about what they do. You know, the doers don't.
No. And you don't do it for thanks, you don't do it for money. And you get a lot of criticism along the way.
Oh, I know.
So every once in a while when someone says thank you or recognizes you, it's really nice.
Well, you're everywhere. I guess that's where I want to go with that. I'm everywhere, and every time I turn around, you're there. I mean, I've seen you with the Westfield Arts Festival. I've seen you with theater. Again, we just sat in together and played music together. You were at the Women of Distinction. I mean, the Abe Lincoln thing. I mean, it's like you're everywhere. So what drives you? How did this all begin? I mean, we all start somewhere. So how did you get involved with community service?
Basically, it's what comes across the desk. They tell me that I have a hard time saying no.
Mm-hmm.
So if someone asks me to do something, I feel like I should if I possibly can. And I think that's part of it. I think you get labeled pretty quickly that you will do
You're
something.
an easy touch. So in your history of community service, and that's what I call it, community service, when do you think was your first event? When did you start? Were you a Girl Scout? Or were you?
I was.
Aha. Mm-hmm. See, I ask that question a lot of times of community service, Rotarians, Kiwanis folks. I'll say, were you in Scouts? And they go, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a continuation. I was a Boy Scout. Yeah.
I do too. Yeah, absolutely. We had the badges.
Yeah, absolutely.
And community
badges.
service was certainly one of them. Mm-hmm. And I think my first involvement was with Westfield Hospital, which of course is my heart.
Mm-hmm.
That is just a shining star in Westfield. And I started working there when I was 16 as a candy striper.
Oh, okay.
And then I was able to go into the central supply, which at that time was the operating room, the emergency room. It was all like in one. And they taught me how to sterilize instruments and but
So you
but in the
worked there, or
meantime
you were volunteering?
I worked. Then I
Okay,
worked.
that was real-
It was
yeah,
when I
you
was
got paid for that.
It was when I was a junior in high school. But anyways, I learned to love the hospital and to appreciate it, to know the hard work that the doctors and nurses do, and what they're facing. So that's why I chose to do that, to go into that career. But Westfield Hospital has just been a love of mine. That's really where I started.
And I think you and I are in the same organization, the auxiliary, right?
Yep.
I pay my dues every year.
$5.
What? Such a deal. But
Well, it really is, because
but I know,
people.
well, let's talk a little bit about what does the auxiliary do, because I know you're very involved with the auxiliary.
The auxiliary does, once again, community service. We've done blood pressures, we've done education. We've been gone into the schools and done nutrition, education, that kind of thing. We have done a lot of. It wasn't so much a fundraising organization. I think when it started, the gray ladies were there, and the ladies did the sewing. They sewed the linens.
They were boots on the ground,
Yeah,
as I
they
call
were.
it. Yeah.
They were, exactly. So, but it's turned into, we started a fundraising, and we started refurbishing, and when the hospital grew, the need became necessary for us to refurbish with the little ornaments that we've made, with the little soup suppers,
Right.
with some of those small fundraisers. We've refurbished the waiting room in the front, the
That's
OR
beautiful.
waiting
It's
room,
beautiful.
the bistro.
The bistro's lovely.
Yeah, we've had an ER, the women's suite. We had once we had 2 sleep labs, a hospice room.
Yeah.
We've just done a lot of refurbishing. Our latest project was the wound clinic, the Meyer Cottage. So when you bought your little $10 ornament, you really, we've done thousands of dollars. The community room, that was a $25,000 project. So that didn't have to come out of the hospital funds. It came out donations, and so it's that. So, and anything else the hospital needs, we will hop to and try to.
And that's just
so,
one project I know that you worked on. You were born and raised in Westfield?
I was.
And you're part of the Laportes, right?
I am.
So, I mean, your whole family have been entrepreneurs?
Yes.
Well, what did your parents do?
My dad started the farm equipment place, and he's always been a farmer to begin with. His family, they were my grandfather. My dad's mother was born in Louisiana, believe it or not. My grandfather was Italy, and they came over and they started a farm, and they taught their children, and they worked. They worked
Hard workers, yeah.
Yep, they were, and so we were taught to work. We were taught to do. My dad was. He started Laporte Equipment. He had farms, grape farms, and Dad loved cows.
Obviously, you did.
Beyond me, but he liked to have a dairy. So
and that's a lot of work.
yeah.
It's 24/7. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, wow.
And then poor gentleman roped my brothers into being the equipment. So, so it was a long time.
Yeah, and then Tom had the
Chevy garage.
dealership,
Yeah.
and then you got married somewhere along the line. And
Yeah.
what did you all do?
We moved to Cleveland when we were first married. Well, John went there to start, and we were there for a couple of years until we listened to the news one night, and they said, the pollution is bad here. Your baby in his crib is a heavy smoker. And we looked at each other and said, okay, we're going back home. So we did come back home, and John worked for Reynolds for a while. Then he worked for the county in the engineering department. I worked at the hospital. I worked at the school. I worked for Dr. Storms and then Dr. Clayton.
Okay.
And raised children, and here we are, still here. Well, we had a grape farm. John had a hobby of a grape farm for a while.
I remember that.
So here we are.
And here we are. And John has done community service too.
Yes, he has.
He's been busy, and I have a feeling because you're married, and you probably drag him into a lot of this.
Yes.
And John's over there nodding, yeah. And of course, John is an outgoing, retiring county legislator, and so I'll publicly thank you for your service, John. Long meetings, long nights, many sub-meetings, committee meetings, and basically getting yelled at by taxpayers on a regular basis. So I know that you get to take a break now. So one of the things that has been a secret to my wife and my long marriage is that we both are out of the house a lot. And we're busy, and John's going to be home now, so now what? You got plans for him?
I just try to keep out of his way, I think.
Stay out of his way. Well, anyways, congratulations, John. Thank you. So today we're going to talk about a project that's come up. And let me segue with this a little bit. A couple of years ago, I was in this show called Harvest Moon that Rick Mascaro put together, and he's done about 3 or 4 of these now. And not being from Westfield, and actually not being from Ripley, I'm a Buffalo kid, but I'm more Ripleyan than I am anything else because I've been here for 42 years and growing here. So I've gotten a whole new sense of what community is. And in Harvest Moon, many of the characters talked about the way life was in the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, and so forth. Very different than it is now, or recently now. And I'm seeing, my observation is that there's a movement in our communities, especially Westfield and others, including my own. We're trying to get a newer or a renewed sense of community.
Yep.
Am I right?
Yes.
So talk to me about that a little.
I feel that it's always been said that Westfield was 10 years behind the rest of the world.
Really?
and where they were and what things were going on, and that might be true. And that was all right with me. I was happy to be a little bit behind times. But yeah, I think for a while, people were not together. it seemed like, businesses were moving out of town. I think with my mother had Sincerely Yours for a long time. Those little businesses and a Western Auto. We had several jewelry stores. They just sort of went away.
Photography shop.
I think with the arrival of the malls and Walmart. So I think the villages just sort of, just didn't thrive, and people went their own way. And so I think,
and we were talking about,
Yeah.
for instance, my hometown of Ripley. There was a big fire in the 60s,
Yeah.
and it wiped out. I don't even know how many businesses. Let's just say, for the heck of the conversation, half dozen businesses. And all there was just a parking lot left, and then a small business showed up, like an A&P type thing. But how do you bring back that business? And you said the malls, and
Yeah.
now with the internet, I mean, we're all probably guilty of doing some online shopping. It's a whole lot easier, but you lose that sense of what's going on in your community.
What I feel has happened in Westfield is a lot of alumni have come back to Westfield and moved back to Westfield, and they're investing money here. They're starting businesses. Lakeshore Center for the Arts is a great example of that. Rick Mascaro, his love is theater, and the Lakeshore Center for the Arts is just amazing how far it's come from when it first started.
Absolutely.
And so we're getting these things back. The library is being reborn. The children's department. Down in the basement. We talked about Girl Scouts. I went to Girl Scouts down in that basement, and it was just a basement. But now it's a fantastic
It's a great
children's
facility.
department. Yeah, it really is.
When I have a company come in from out of town, out of country, whatever, I bring them to the Patterson Library, because it's almost like a go-to place. It's like a showcase, and I just love I like this.
It
this
is.
walk around in there. It's got such a cool feeling.
Yeah.
But there's been some drivers, behind some of these things, and you have to have drivers. I know you got. I always going to say this wrong. The WDC, the Westfield Developmental Corporation.
Yep.
That you all started. You got your chamber. You got your Kiwanis, Rotary.
Yep.
And I think it's those organizations, I think, that keep moving the agenda, that keep moving community. And you're right, so many aspects of a community is more than just the businesses on the street. There's the library, the theater, and so
The
forth.
hospital, the school. Westfield is a fantastic school. It really is.
I worked for them for 6 months. Did you know that?
I know you did. Yeah. I think I worked there as a substitute when you did that too.
Could very well been. It was like I was a retired superintendent. I got the call, and I said, "Can you come in for a couple of weeks to cover elementary principal?" And then, like 6 months later, I'm going, "Mark, I think you need to hire this guy. I can't stay here forever. I'm supposed to be retired." But it was a good experience, and I really enjoyed realizing that half the names in Westfield were the same half of names in Ripley. They're all cousins. They all know each other.
But the key now, I feel, is all of these organizations, along with the shops, restaurants, the downtown partnerships, they're beginning to realize the merit in working together. And that's what we didn't have for a long time. And I think it's working, everybody helping.
Let me say a name, Don McCord.
Yes.
Don's been on the show here. We talked about some of his vision for Westfield, and I had worked with Don when I was on the county planning board, and he's kind of a quiet fellow, but he has big vision, doesn't he?
He does, and he is
So
a worker.
let's talk a little bit about what's he done and moved quietly in your town.
Oh my goodness. Oh. Well, I think he was the fence that around the park and the plantings. That's something.
They call that curb appeal.
Curb appeal.
You drive through Westfield
Curb
now,
appeal.
that's curb appeal. No, I'm serious.
No, seriously.
When that went up, I go, brilliant. How beautiful that looks with the clock tower in in the McClurg and all, and all the all that area.
Yeah, the town was a biggie too. Yeah. I couldn't wait to. I mean, the clock was a biggie. The downtown, the refurbishing of he's working on getting grants. The benches, curb appeal, beautification is a big one. A lot of people come to Westfield and say we'd like to live here. it's a big, it's good.
You know what the other brilliant thing was?
What?
The parking lot.
Yes,
How
a
fat?
parking lot.
You go, I mean, I'm not poking fun at anybody, but like we were just at Erie last week trying to find a parking spot in the evening to go to an event. It's like, where the heck do you go? And, you know, with the Westfield Farmers Market and the Crafts and Arts Festival,
Yep.
now you got that beautiful parking lot, and it's striped, and it makes sense. And before it was like, Cucamonga. It's like I couldn't figure out where I was supposed to park, and now it's all laid out, and it's got landscaping and lights. And
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Good stuff.
I'm excited because, like I said, we're all coming together finally, and
Yeah.
it shows.
Yeah.
It shows. Our first responders too. That's another thing.
Oh,
that
well,
I'm
yeah, you got the
very
beautiful
excited
monument
about
there.
that
Yeah.
too. Yeah. So
You know, and it's funny. You got to get the right chemistry. It's got to be the right formula. It seems at the right time. Does that make
Exactly.
sense?
Yep.
And it seems like many of our communities are sort of getting that synergy going, and I think that you guys have been a good example of what can be done.
hopefully.
Yeah. So congratulations, all
Well,
of you.
thank you.
And I know that you're one of the mover and shakers behind all that.
Well, I've done my part, I think.
So let's talk a little bit about why we're here today. It's Christmas in the Village, and we can digress from there. But tell me about this event. How long has it been around, and you know what's the idea behind it?
Christmas in the Village actually started I believe in the late 90s, and I wasn't involved, but the mayor's wife at the time, they started with a tea, and it was more of a Victorian thing. It was a tea, and they really wanted just to bring people into town. That's the idea, of course. And they had a few things at Easton Hall, and that was about all that they did.
The Hall of Trees.
The Hall of, well,
Is-
they didn't have a Hall of Trees.
Not
No,
yet?
no.
That's
they-
where you and I
they
met in
basically,
Easton
yeah.
Hall. I think that's where I was playing. Somehow
Yeah.
I don't even know how I got there. I was like,
I probably
it's like I'll show up somewhere and go, I don't know how I got here.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, you can come back this year too. That'd be great.
I'm busy. I'm with the Rotary, and then I'm doing something else we're going to talk about.
So they passed it along. They decided that they didn't want to do it any longer. So they passed it on to me. So I decided to try to make it a little bit better, a little bit bigger. So it's sort of gotten bigger over the years.
And you're kind of
So-
used to this. I mean, you do the Civil War reenactment. You've had
yeah.
President Lincoln here with
Yeah.
me.
Oh, he's great.
He's wonderful, and we're friends.
I know.
We continue to be friends.
I know, yeah.
And it's been really fun and a joy to work on some of these projects with you. So it's called Christmas in the Village. So I recall I had Jacob Marley and
Yes.
Ebenezer Scrooge
Yep.
here one year. And,
Yep.
so are you going to have some of the characters in dress as well this year?
Not this year. We're going to have downtown carolers.
Okay.
And they'll be in dress. But no, one year we did a Dickens theme, so
Right.
we went, and I think
That was
that was the
your-
year that we had all of that. So that was just that year.
Yeah, okay.
You know, I think we're just going to make it a little more generic this time.
Well, you know, it's always
So-
nice to mix it up because then people
Right.
say, oh, you're going to do that again.
Yeah.
No matter what you
Yeah.
do. Something.
I tried to get my vendors to dress in Victorian costume. They just weren't going for it.
Well, you know, when they have those 4-foot wide hoop scoots,
Yeah,
skirts,
yeah.
skirts,
Exactly.
it's hard to get through the store without
Exactly.
knocking things down. All right, so let's talk about some dates and things. So it's going to be held starting on November 17th. That's
Right.
coming up pretty quick.
Yes, yeah.
It's like 2 weeks from
Yeah,
yesterday.
Yes.
No pressure.
The electric department's beginning to decorate some store windows. They're starting, and so it's beginning to come alive. Yes, December 17th.
What happens on December 17th?
That's we kind of call that Children's Night.
Mm-hmm.
Santa comes to town. You never know how he's.
Okay.
What?
You keep talking, and I'm going to hold up a poster on my camera over here.
Okay.
Or are you going to put it on that camera? Which camera you want? That one? Okay, he wants you to hold up a poster. Evidently, the
There we
poster
go.
we had did not come through with our technology. All right, so
Okay.
so on Friday, it's November 17th.
Yep, Santa comes to town. You never know how he's going to arrive. Could be on a grape picker or a fire truck or in a convertible. Or last year it was by foot because the snow was so high we couldn't do anything else. He comes and he lights the tree.
Okay, good. That's good.
Okay. He comes and lights the tree in the park.
Uh-huh.
And then there are treats and pictures, and we're going to do it right in the gazebo. That's kind of a nice, with the tree in the background.
Okay, so this is 6:30.
This is
Santa
6:30.
arrives somehow or another.
Somehow or another, lights the tree, and then courtesy of the YWCA, once again, this is everybody getting
Yeah,
together.
teaming
We have treats and pictures, and that'll be, if the weather is really terrible, that will be over at the Y, the pictures and the treats.
All right, now people say, oh, God, the Y. The Y is like a block away. Everything's really close
Everything is
by.
right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice.
That's right. And by the way, we will have Mr. and Mrs. Santa.
Oh, the team are
Yes,
coming.
we have a team.
So, what do you say to the people saying, it's not even Thanksgiving yet?
Ah, good.
And I'm not,
No,
we
I'm
talked a little
glad.
bit about this, but I've seen this on Facebook. It's like, my Christmas
have.
tree's still in the closet. I go, well,
I
okay,
have
that's
to.
you.
I have to. Make no mistake, we are thankful for our town, for our county, for our country, and for all the blessings that we've had. And we don't minimize Thanksgiving at all. We
Right.
really don't. So happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
So it kind of kicks off the
this
holiday
kicks-
season, right?
This kicks off the holiday season, yes. And what we found is that it's a good time to do it because in December, things get so busy, you can't do it.
Yeah.
So that's what it is, but please make no mistake, we do not minimize Thanksgiving, and the whole town of Westfield is thankful. And matter of fact, if I can, today at Easton Hall from 5 to 7, the churches are providing a little chili supper for
Oh, yeah?
anyone who, and once again, this is the ministerium, all the churches getting
Very
together.
nice. Everybody teaming up.
Yeah,
That's
so
cool.
if you'd like a bowl of chili, you're welcome to come.
Okay. So this is the kickoff for the holiday season, and the
really.
first big event is Christmas in the Village.
Christmas in the Village,
and everybody's
exactly.
putting out their best look, and
Yeah.
it's about a month early. But if I remember right, I was supposed to come down last year and help you out, and it was horrible.
Oh yeah, yes, it
We
was.
said thanks, but no thanks. We just can't do this.
No,
the year
I know.
before though, me and Rick, we announced in front of the Methodist
Yeah,
Church.
yeah.
I called it the McKenzie Brothers. We were having a ball. We had our muck-a-luck hats, and we were all with hot chocolate and stuff, and we had a
And
good
you
time.
will again, folks. So
The return of Doc and Rick.
Doc and Rick.
And we'll talk about that in a minute.
Very
Okay,
exciting.
so on the 17th, Santa comes to town.
yeah, one other thing on the 17th,
Yep.
and this is sort of something that came in lately, so I haven't been able to. The library is going to have a visit by some little pygmy goats at 5 o'clock. So I don't know what that means. but
Pygmy goats.
They're from Sundance Ranch, and
Oh, cool.
so that might be something to bring the children down for.
Okay, so there's
Okay.
something for everybody.
There's something for, yeah.
Then it really kicks in on the 18th, and that would be 2 weeks from today.
Yeah, yeah.
So the 18th. Let's talk
Yeah.
about the 18th. What happens?
Saturday is really the big day.
Okay.
Starts off at 10 o'clock with the Hall of Christmas, and there are vendors and there's food. That's at Easton Hall.
Okay, so folks that are not familiar with Easton Hall, that are listening on the radio right now or watching this somewhere in the world, where is Easton Hall?
Easton Hall, if you're coming into Westfield, you will see the main diner in the middle of town.
Mm-hmm.
That's Elm Street. If you turn at that street, right if you're coming one way, left if you're coming another. And Easton Hall is the town hall. It's
Right.
just about 200 feet
big
down
white
the road.
pillars, right?
You'll see it.
Can't
you
miss
know,
it.
yeah.
Okay, and there's a great big room in there. They used to do roller
Yes.
skating in there, and
Yeah.
they still do. I don't know.
Yep,
Big
yep.
big room. So
Yep.
what's going to be in there?
So what's going to be there? There are vendors. There are vendors with crafts, food, wonderful woodwork. We have wonderful woodworking people. So it's and some little doll clothes. There are just a lot of things. Come and do some Christmas shopping, but at the same time, visit the shops in the town.
Okay.
Because
You get to take a breather. We have a
Okay.
phone call. So good
Oh,
morning, caller.
okay.
Good morning, Doc. This is Linda Spalding.
Hi, Lynn.
Good morning, Marilyn and John.
Good
It's
morning.
so good to hear what you're talking about, Marilyn, and thank you for uniting the community. And this sounds like a
welcome.
wonderful event. And
You're
I
welcome.
agree with you. Doing it and during the Thanksgiving time is much easier for everybody because it gets so hectic in December.
yeah,
Well, there's one vote.
yes, thank you, thank you for that, Linda.
Yes, and I look forward to it, and I hope to be able to participate in it. And I'd like to tell you that I buy very little online, I much rather see it in person, and I like to go to our local merchants because of the wonderful service you get.
So what you're saying is you don't want to return something that's the wrong size through the mail, and that you'd like to see the quality of the product you're buying.
Yeah, and I don't buy anything online. Very few things. And the reason for it is that's how they can, get your identity and all that other stuff. And I don't care how safe they say it is. I've been hacked, and I know it's not safe.
Well, there you have it. So you can shop locally throughout the county during the Christmas season, holiday season, all the time for that matter.
You can't beat, I'm going to put a plug in, for the Mayville Hardware Store.
There you go.
They have everything.
right.
Everything. Okay.
Chautauqua County has it all, don't they?
Yep, they do. So I don't want to hold you up.
All right.
Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks, Lynn.
Okay.
You take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
All right. So Easton Hall is going to have the Hall of Christmas.
All of Christmas.
Okay. And it's going to be decorated, I'm assuming?
Oh,
somehow?
yes.
Okay.
Mhm. Yep, very good.
Okay.
Then from 11 to 4 on Saturday, and this is also on Sunday,
Okay.
we have horse-drawn carriage rides, courtesy Magic Moments. They're free. One of my goals in this weekend, and I really do want to say this, is to have that you don't have to pay for anything that you don't want to pay for.
Okay.
I think of a family coming with 3 or 4 children, if they had to pay $5 to ride a carriage,
Yeah.
I don't want that to happen.
Yeah, it could be
I know
okay.
we've got some time constraints.
Okay. So let's keep going.
Okay, 11 o'clock, Patterson Library, Santa comes.
Oh, that sounds
and
like
we're
fun.
going to read some stories. Now, one of the big events of the weekend is our Hot Toddy Crawl from 11 to 4 on Saturday. And several of our merchants and restaurants are going to give you some little hot toddies, little drinks, maybe a treat. So you go and you get a card punched. You can turn that in at the end of the day. There will be a map of who's doing what. And then there are prizes at the end of the season. We'll draw. You could win a prize.
All right.
So there's a holiday wine tea at the Grape Discovery Center out on West Main. That is on Saturday as well.
Okay.
Then on Sunday, the McClurg Mansion's having their holiday open house from 2 to 4. So you go there on Sunday. Everything continues, not the Hot Toddy Crawl. But the biggie on Saturday is our Let There Be Light parade.
And yours truly will be
yours truly,
announcing
that's right.
as long as I'm
Yeah.
not buried in snow
Yep.
and rain.
Yep. And we have floats and walkers, and the only requirement is that you carry a light or your vehicles be lighted.
Okay.
So we're calling it Let There Be Light.
All right. And that's going to be a lot of fun. And I'll be with Rick Mascaro in front of Rosie's.
Yep.
Right there in downtown Westfield.
Yep.
So people get there early. Starts at 5 o'clock and line the streets.
Yep.
From where to where? Let's go.
Starts at the school.
Okay.
And comes down and turns right on North Portage.
So where should
and
people
goes
stand? Anywhere along
anywhere
downtown?
anywhere along. And if the weather is really, really terrible, we'll do it Sunday night.
Okay.
But we'll try to make it a go.
We have less than a minute. So if people have questions, who should they call? You?
Call me, please.
What's the phone number?
716-753-6043.
All right. And anything else we want to talk about? Oh, the holiday decorating windows. Let's talk about that real quick.
Oh, yeah. That's another thing Westfield's become noted for. Yep. I think you talked about it.
A little
the
bit.
chamber is running. You vote online, and the prizes will be awarded.
Okay, so
That way,
Westfield
yeah.
would be part of it
Westfield will be
because they're
part
part
of
of the
it.
Chamber
Yeah.
of Commerce.
We
Okay.
also have Blue June blooms in the library, has all the trees, and Christmas tree wonderland. You don't want to miss that.
Blue June Blooms. That's hard
Yep.
to say fast.
I know it.
Blue June Blooms is going to have the Christmas tree wonderland.
Yep.
All right. I told you it was going to go
That's it.
fast.
Wow.
Wow, I was right. Folks, Christmas in the Village, Westfield, New York, November 17th through the 19th. My guest today has been Marilyn Hemmer, and we've been talking community and the holidays and getting together, so thanks for coming by at the last minute. And we're going to be there. I'm going to be there on the 18th announcing the Christmas parade, Let There Be Light. We're going to do this all again next Saturday, so stick around. Watch the show again if you like, and we'll see you next time right here on channel 1301 Access Chautauqua. Have a great weekend. Take care. Be safe out there. Bye-bye now.